What's going on? Welcome to the Developmental Focus Point. I'm your host, Bo Scarbrough, and with me are my two co-hosts, Christion Jones, Trent Richardson, the Alabama legend, the best to ever do it. And we are brought to you by Workspace Solution and Oakmont Financial Partners. And make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Man, what's up, Trent? What's up, Christian?
What it do, gang?
Man,
What going on?
I
How
feel like
y'all boy feeling?
I feel like it's been so long since we've been on here last week. It feel like it been.
Man, I was just having that like as we was talking offline. I'm like, damn, I ain't talked to my guys in a while. I ain't gonna say boys. I don't like to say boys. I ain't talked to my people in a while, man. Damn, we just talked last week. Hell, but it
Yeah,
seemed
no,
like a
I
long
like.
time since last week.
Yeah,
We
it
back,
feel like
baby. We
me.
back. We
Yeah,
back, man.
Chris John looking good. He glowing.
Oh man,
Trent,
I'm just
hey,
glad to be here, baby.
Trent over there looking like money.
Oh,
I
John,
need
John,
to,
you got
I
your
need
teeth
to
whitening or
see.
something over there?
Nah, bro, nah, just brushing good. You changed up the toothbrush, changed up the toothbrush, brushing them good, brushing them real good. That's
Hey,
all.
hey, hey, Christian. Hey, Christian. Trent looking like money. I need to be walking behind him, baby.
I'm telling you, where you at,
I
boy?
know
Wait,
some follow out the pocket.
that's the
No,
crib.
I'm
That's
over.
the crib.
No, you know I'm at the studio, man.
Well, that look like the crib. Well, ain't that like that? Look like that? That
It
like
do
the
look like
crib.
the crib.
Boy.
It
Hey,
do look like it, but it ain't it
he
though.
in the crib. He just don't want to tell her where he's at. He don't want that
Hey,
money. You know what
Facts.
I'm saying? He got
And
that
that
money.
man cave.
hey,
You
y'all
know,
know I got people looking for me, man.
you can't hide that money.
Nah, you can't hide that money. He know he can't. He
but
don't like hiding the
but
hell.
yeah, man. But tonight we don't have a guest tonight. We decided to do something a little different. We decided to go around and tell our story about how we overcame adversity. You know, going to the University of Alabama and the process that it took for us to get there. And you know, it's a little bit of insight because of a lot of people see us playing on the field and think that we're just naturally good and doesn't know what we go through to get to that point. And like we let a lot of things out on the field. So we're gonna give y'all a little background history of our story about how we got to the University of Alabama. And I'm gonna start with Trent because when this guy here was coming out, man, they were like it's a 5-star, but he need a 6-star. He a 6-star. I said a 6-star. I thought you only could get 5. You know what I'm saying? And they were like, nah. They said he
Different.
rated for a 6-star. He different. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna start with you, Trent. Let it run it.
Oh man, what can I start with this? Like just leading up to it, man. It was probably for me. Um, it was definitely a grind, but it was a different process because a lot of people don't know, and some people do know. Man, I couldn't walk for 2 years. My freshman and sophomore year, I didn't play football. Actually, the only sport I did 4 years was track. I had screws in both of my ankle, and so I ended up starting my freshman year in Pensacola, Florida, at Escambia High School, the same school that Emmett went to. Um, his running back coach was my head coach, and he was Derek Brooks' head coach. So it was a lot to live up to. My brothers were stars at school. My brother might have been one of the only guys to go to college um, that's from his class. And these guys was pretty damn good, But back in the day, like it was tough sledding get out of Pensacola. It was tough sledding getting out that panhandle. Um, but my freshman year, man, the second game of the season, I tore my ligament in my left ankle, and we was running a wing T triple option offense. And as the runner, you go in motion every time you get the ball. And so I was going in motion to the left side, and the quarterback got hit. He pitched the ball, but he pitched it. It came out late, and so I had to go back for the ball. So as that happened, somebody hit me down low, and somebody went over top of me. Yeah, like on some crazy stuff, man. So I had to sit out for the rest of that year.
Mm.
End up not being able to go to school as much at home on the couch. And matter of fact, people got to realize it too. We in FEMA trailers. We had just had Hurricane Ivan.
Mm.
Um, It was a crazy process. Like just even thinking about all this, bro. Like now it's just like it's a surreal moment because it's like, damn, like I really went through that, and I made it through that. Man, I stayed in the trailer for 2 years. Our house got torn down during the Hurricane Ivan, but it being in that trailer and not being able to move off that couch, man, I end up. And at the time, my kid's mom, she was coming over to take care of me and all this other stuff. She stayed in the neighborhood before us. And now we end up with my little girl. She ended up pregnant with my little girl. So my sophomore year, we ended up having her in October. In maybe 4 weeks before that, I get hurt again. And that was the second game of the season.
What you heard?
The right ankle the same way, triple option, running that wing T offense. He pitched the ball late. I came back for the ball and hit the same exact way. The same exact way, bro. It was crazy. So you can imagine a Varsity Blues type movie type, Friday Night Lights type movie type action when it happened. Like I'm talking about getting off. I'm getting my freshman sensation and sophomore semester. That's all the news, highlights. And man, I only played.
You said it was the second game of the season?
Second game of the season, man. And that happened to me 2 years in a row, bro. So at this time, it's like, bro, my little girl for to be here. Like, is this stuff really for me? What am I doing wrong? I'm praying. I'm really like going to church. I'm doing everything I can, bro. Like what's up? Like, and then at this time too, man, we ended up having my little girl in October, man. So I started working. And at this time, I'm a vet in the game as far as being injured. Like, far as I know the process. I was one of the first high school, patients, with Dr. Andrew, when it comes to, his numbers of guys he got. Because I remember last time when I got surgery on my knee, they were like, man, you like number 30 something. Like, they keep tracks of the numbers. How you can be like number 600 something right now, but I was like number 30 something on the list. And they were like, bro, you've been coming here for a long time, bro. I've been knowing Dr. Andrews because my brother used to get his surgery from him too. I've been going to Dr. Andrews for surgery since I was like 13.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's a long time. That's over 20 some years.
Yeah.
But when I sit back and think about it, bro, like that process, man, like I was a vet at the time, now my sophomore year. And so now you get these screws put in there, you gotta get them taken out. So the first time I got them taken out, it was good. The second time, I almost got an infection because I was being hard-headed. I was, they told me not to play basketball. I had a boot on. I was able to move around, walk around, do whatever I wanted to do. Shit, being from the hood, we got a goal in the backyard. So we on the dirt, we in the backyard playing pickup basketball, and I'm out there with the boot. I'm still out there doing their ass, and just with the boot on, with the boot, we going at it.
What?
And, yeah, we going at it, and I didn't even know it was broke until they did the X-ray, and when they was getting ready to take it out, it wasn't feeling bad, but it felt kind of funny, and so they were telling me like, man, we had to do some extra stuff, man, while we was in there because your screws was broke, and so I'm like, okay, shoot, yeah, my screws had broke inside my ankle, and so that was another process I had to, yeah, that was another process, man. I had to sit back some more. And so I end up running track again, man. Like, shoot, by that point, I was, I had one state, I had one district and regionals and stuff like that with track. Made it down there to state. I lost in state. But the next year I come out, man, and I explode on the scene for like 407 yards. And that's when I got my first offer from Nick. And I get the offer from Nick.
You said you do what? What you do that game?
What's
that blow-up game?
407 yards, first game of the season.
Your first game, you had 400 yards.
Yeah. So let me
and then Coach Saban call.
You get that call from
how many times you had?
I think I had 6 touchdowns that game, and I didn't play the full quarter.
Yeah, I'm playing Holy Spirit. No, I'm just
shit. We were playing
Holy Ghost.
I should mess with you.
We was actually playing Courtney Finnegan team, Tate High School. The cornerback got beat up by what's called Andre Smith. I mean, what's Andre's last name, man? The receiver played at Houston.
Andre,
Andre Johnson. So it was actually playing, and that's what Graham Gano went to. So we actually playing against
he
them
played
guys.
where?
He played with the Titans. He played
No, I'm talking
cornerback
about
with the
what high
Titans.
school. What high school he was at?
Tate High School.
Tate. Gotcha.
So we actually playing against them guys. And I sat out the whole fourth quarter. But even leading up to that process, right? Man, I was working, so I had went to work. Hey, turn your phone down, Blake. I had went to work. I started working, man, because at this time I had just had my little girl, and so I started working, bro. I had a pleasure to work with some prisoners that was on work release, and some guys who wasn't on work release, man, they was getting to my tail about, you know, small stuff, but that, turned into big stuff. Cause I mean, I was in the hood, and what was around me, and I had did what I had to do to, to make ends for my child. I was in the streets too. And so at the same time, man, like those guys would hit everything before I even got to work the next day. And so, man, I mean, one time we got into a fight, man, with the next hood, and bro, they ripped into my tail, bro. And they were just like, bro, like you really got something special here. Like you can be something special, man. You got your old girl, your mama work out here with us, and hearing this type of stuff, man, and us being in prison, you got bank robbers, you got a killer, you got all these guys out here that been in gangs and stuff. Like they pointed such and such and such and out for me, and it was just like, well, damn, y'all right. I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be in this, in this type of environment to where I'm putting my family on risk because I want to do something crazy because I'm trying to get some quick money. But at those times, like it was what it was, and we didn't have all the social media stuff. We didn't have none of that. And I don't even think we had YouTube at the time. I think the closest thing we had was Black Planet, and MySpace had just came about. But man, just skipping forward back to that game, bro. Like the first game of the season, I had 407 yards, and so now, yeah, 6 tugs, and now you get the Nick Saban calling, and so from Nick calling, everybody calling. But I think it might have been the fourth game of the season, man. I had ended up spraining my ankle again, and I thought my shit was broken. I was like, bro, I'm done. Like it ain't nowhere in hell. It ain't nowhere in hell. I ended up spraining my ankle again. So what happened was, we had got a new head coach, and we was running our formation, and he made sure that I was comfortable enough, like with myself. Like he hid my ankle brace. They had made some Dr. Andrews them had made some ankle brace for me and everything. He hid my shit. He was like, man, listen, you can't depend on this. You can't depend on it. You depend on this, your ankle's gonna be weak. You're gonna be weak minded. This is not what we're doing. So I'm like, cool. And this guy here, this the same guy that this is the guy we bring in. That's the Emmett guy. So he hard nosed. He cussing me out first day. I can remember sitting on the breezeway, right? And I'm talking to the little chick. And this is a white guy. Say, man, tell Trent to get his black ass up in here. So you know me, I'm like, man, who the hell? Man, who is he talking to? Being where I'm from, it's just like, bro, listen, we don't do that. But what he did for me, man, was make me understand the different walks of life, bro. Like, it ain't about, how I'm saying it. It ain't about how I'm doing it. It's about what I'm telling you, what I'm teaching you, bro. Like that man, like he made me. Like we would have Oklahoma drill all damn practice. We weren't running no play. We were starting practice off like that. We were gonna have the middle practice like that. You might have got one water break. And then shit, that spring when he got there, my sophomore year, right? Because I was able to play in the spring game. Guess what he told me? He said, man, you ain't gonna be no running back for me this spring. You gonna play safety. I said, what? Ain't no running back. What? And it was crazy because my cousin was just as good as me, but he was a hothead. But he wasn't as as talented as far as athletic. But he was we was 1-2 punch in Little League sports. And so, man, I played safety my whole spring of my sophomore year, coming back for like the jamboree and stuff like that. I didn't play no running back. Man, Cat let me touch the ball one time. Get what I did with that thing, CJ.
Crib.
to the crib. He ain't had no choice. He ain't had no choice.
Crib.
To the crib. He ain't had no choice, man. But so I'm at the doctor, bro, and I'm skipping around. And I'm like, man, listen, call Dr. Andrews right now. Like, that's the only person I want seeing me. I don't want nobody else. Because he had an old school doctor that he, wanted us to see that was there when Emmett was there. And I was like, I need to see Dr. Andrews. Like, I ain't seeing nobody. I don't want to talk to nobody until I talk to him. And, man, it come up. It was just a high ankle sprain, bro, but it was like a bad one. So I had to sit out like 2 games. But I came back, man. I went out for like 355 playing against DJ them. Petway at Catholic High School. But man, it was a different process, bro, because I had to commit. I committed early because one thing I had to realize, like, bro, I am getting hurt, and like I do play different sports.
Yeah,
And so
what year did you commit?
I committed the end of my junior year, and I committed because Bama got that, Bama got the program. What's going on? Bama got that program. Your kids go on a full free scholarship and everything. As far as alumni player, then they, just being at home. I feel like I was at home, but I also knew that shit. If Nick gave me a scholarship, who wouldn't want me? And so with that, I made sure that shit. If I got hurt, that my scholarship, my education was secured. No matter what, man. And I done seen Nick do that, with folks, to get hurt, can't play no more. He still let them folks go to school, let them still have their scholarship.
Yeah,
So you weren't trying to go nowhere else?
No, I ain't done yet. I ain't done yet. Cause growing up, man, I love Texas. I love Vince Jones, my favorite player, Ricky Williams, Earl Campbell. That was my favorite school, bro. Like, I was a huge Vince Young fan. I used to play NCAA. That's what I used to be. I used to go get Texas. Instead of having to put a quarterback or a cornerback at quarterback to run around and move, I used to have Vince Young. I ain't had to do all that. And so, growing up, like, that was my squad. It was University of Texas, man. I used to love that little burnt orange. And so getting recruited by them, Will Muschamp was there. And he told them, well, Will Muschamp was recruiting me from there. And they told their running back that they had coming in. Chris Whaley, I'll never forget this, that they were going to take them over running backs. And Chris Whaley had to be 6'2" or 6'3", 250 pounds at the time. There was the Derrick Henry before the Derrick Henry now in high school. And he ended up playing defensive tackle at Texas. He ain't playing now, then running back. But at the end, they tried to come recruit me again. I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm good now, shit. But man, I was it was hard getting out of Florida, bro. Like Florida State was hard because it was right down the street. My mama didn't want me to go there. Florida, my mom was like, she was shaky about Florida, but she was okay with me going there because it was 6 hours away from the crib. But my mama wasn't sold on Alabama. I know that. She was sold on me going to LSU or to Florida. And Alabama wasn't even in the picture because she's never had been there. I had been to Alabama a couple times. And I liked it, Alabama. I liked the Coach Saban. I liked the Coach Burns. I love Coach Burns. I liked the Coach Williams. And at my time, Lance Thompson was recruiting me. So that was my guy. And going into my senior year, my mom finally took the trip down to Alabama with me because she was telling everybody we should go be a Tiger. We LSU this, LSU that. Now I stated my brother was at Lafayette, so that's a 30-minute, maybe 45-minute, away from Baton Rouge drive for her. She was actually gonna move to Louisiana, and she was gonna be able to see both of her babies, and it was gonna be lit for her. That was gonna be the perfect, place for her. But at that time, I'm telling my mom, like, wait a minute, I gotta go spend my last 3 to 4 years here. This is what I'm gonna do. And so we go to Bama, and we walking on Bryant, 15th, going to the game, and a whole bunch of people run up to me. So first thing my mama ready to do, she put up the deuce, she put up her feet, she put up them fists, she ready to go.
Well,
and so she ready to squall. She, it's a crowd of people. And my mom was like, "Hey man, like y'all good? Like what's going on?" And she like, and they just like, "No, Miss Richardson, we want your son autograph." She like, she at the time she's still trying to fight because she trying to protect her baby, which would be the normal, for anybody parent, coming from where we come from and not knowing, what the hell going on. And she like, "Yeah, we just want to invite you some barbecue and get your son autograph. We love your son. We want him to come here." And so my mama just culture shock. She like, you want Trenton what? Like you want his hand right, his hand signature for what? And she was like, well, he's a great player today. And my mama was totally on board for Alabama. Like, bro, I can remember getting recruited from LSU, right? And this is a time when the coaches came and sat in the house, and Coach Miles came in the house, right? And at the time, my kid's mom, she got on the Alabama sweater, right? And this is not even playing like this. They done made something to eat for Coach Miles and Coach Porter, who was the running back coach at LSU at the time. And so in the middle of the conversation, and what towards the end of the conversation, Coach Miles gave my mama everything as far as his best efforts of why I need to come there, what they have set up for us, and all this other stuff. Terrell is up the street. LSU got all this, great stuff for the education. My mama loved the education program and how they had all, what they, take you through with the recruiting stuff and show your parents this and that about the study hall stuff and showing where they, would live at. And, at the time, Trent, who was Charles Scott was there. All those guys had made me feel like that was home too. And, so my mama say, as we fit to get ready to wrap it up, now these folks came down and ate some pork chops, macaroni, cheese, some baked beans. They went out eating pork now. They good and full. They, still giving us, they best ish. So my mama say, well, Coach Saban, I really know y'all really want my son. I appreciate y'all for coming down. We definitely, we definitely gonna, be considering everything. We really appreciate you, Coach Saban. Talking like this, Coach Miles now. And so everybody got quiet. And y'all know me, I'm goofy. So I said, Mom, you said who? She said Coach Saban. Oh, babe, I'm sorry, babe. My bad. And so everybody got quiet and bust out laughing. So we walk outside. My mama didn't even walk outside. My mama was like, oh, damn. Like, I can't believe I said this. So mama ain't walking us outside. So Coach Porter say, shit, I see where you going. Well, we're going to do everything we can to try to persuade you to go elsewhere. But, man, look, it don't look like we ain't got no contest in this thing here, man. It's over with. I said, man, my mama don't even know my real name. I said, my mama called me every name but mine. And, we laughed about it, man. But it was crazy too, man, because when Urban Meyer came down, man, I was, bro, people don't realize how close I was going to Florida.
Mm.
It was really like almost a phone call away. Because I went down there, that recruiting visit, boy, that talking about a recruiting visit. Whew, a recruiting visit. I'd have been to Bama 1,000 times at this time. So Bama wasn't going to get no more excited than what it already was. The biggest excitement I had, besides, what I already knew what Bama was, the dance contest that DJ Fluke and Mark Ingram had outside of the Delta House in the back of Bryan, the little crunk dance off their head. And so we go down to Florida, bro. They stick me with Chris Rainey at first. And with Chris Rainey, the trip was born. He was showing me his highlight tape from high school. Like, man, I don't want to see your highlight tape from high school, man. I know what you done did at Lakeland. I'm a fan. I get it. They put me with Joe Hayden. And, bro, talking about going off, like, we went into every bar that's on the strip. They had a bottle for us. They had everybody. He stopped the crowd. He made the crowd play the chump music for us. There was, tell Trent Richardson why he should be here. The whole crowd. I'm talking about he go in the DJ booth and everybody doing this. Everybody was, they was doing the Gator chump. They was telling me they want us here and they want me here. And I think Ed might have been on that trip with me, man. Ed Stinson. But we go to the Bama game.
Oh, Ed.
Yeah, Ed. We go to the basketball game, and that's when Tebow took off his sleeve and said, I'm gonna be good, I'll be back, and all this other stuff. And he's showing out. Everybody was showing love, man. I think we played we went and played 5-on-5 at the rec. I mean, it was all of us out there having fun. It was a fun time, bro. And I can remember the day of signing day, right? I'm looking at Urban on TV, and I see him get off, because he was talking about the recruiting class and stuff like that. I'm calling him. I called Urban like 4 or 5 times. He didn't pick up. And that's the reason I didn't go to Florida, man. Because he would not pick up. Because my mama didn't really she wasn't excited about Florida because she didn't want me that far away from her. Because Bama ain't that far from Pensacola. It's actually closer to Pensacola than it is. Bama is closer to. Pensacola is closer to Bama than it is Gainesville, and so she wasn't excited about the running. She didn't like the running back coach, and so I'm calling Urban. He won't pick up. So by the time comes to sign, he decides to call me back, and at this time I'm at the podium, saying why I'm fit to go. In that room is AJ McCarron. He's down to see me, make sure I'm signing. He's happy to see me sign and stuff like that. AJ, I think DJ might have been there too. Fluker was there. Drayden already called me like, hey, so y'all done did this now. Come on. Cause me and Dre Kurt was like, bro, whoever sign first, that's where we're gonna go. It was so crazy because Kurt almost went to Texas. It was Texas or LSU for him. And so getting to that story, he ended up signing to Bama, man. And so when he signed to Bama, he called me immediately. Like, come on, man, I just did it. Let's go. Because I was like the last one to sign. I signed at 4 o'clock. Everybody else signed that morning. And so they say, and I'm talking to Burns, he said, man, go ahead and sign, man, because Nick come down in my office one more time, man, I'm going to cuss his ass out like that. I said, man, you got this man nervous right here, man. He keep walking back and forth from my office and then his office. I said, man, Nick don't never come down this hallway, man. So me and Burns, instead of having these conversations, man, as the day go on and, everybody's out there, trying to see what I'm going to do. And it was going to be even crazy because I was going to let my daughter pick the hat. But it would be just my luck she picked the wrong hat. And so, man, if you ever look back at that film, one of my uncles is in the picture of, like, the people in the background, that's behind you while you at the table. He got a Florida hat on. And he had to take it off, like, because, I was that close to going to Florida. But man, that process, bro, was crazy. So, like, even, with getting away from Florida State, my mama didn't want me to go there at all because that was home. That's like Birmingham guys going up to Tuscaloosa. Like, it was too much access. And coming from where I came from, my mama didn't want that. And so my mama definitely didn't want me to be in the hands of, people can, drive up 2 hours and or an hour and a half and, be able to put their hands on, be able to, to be close to me. And so with that, Florida State was just a stupid trip to me anyway. Them guys out there fighting when we was out there on a recruiting visit. My mama, she went to the flea market instead of meeting with Coach Bowen. Like, my mama, she wasn't feeling Florida State at all, man. She didn't like that place at all. All my cousins was there. All my little people that from where I'm from, they went there. So it was an ugly look for us. And then I think the receiver got in trouble that weekend. They was all fighting at the Moon, the Club Moon, if y'all have been down to Tallahassee. But the receiver had fell asleep at McDonald driveway, which is my guy too. He's my dog. But man, that process, bro, it was so different, man. People don't realize, man, like, I went through, I don't want to say hell on earth, man, but that was one of the most craziest times. That's the adversity I went through on that time of my life, bro. Like, I couldn't even, I started running them sand dunes to get my speed back, to get my joints stronger. I couldn't pay folks to go out there and train with me. Like, I used to try to offer guys, just come out there with me. Like, or even if I didn't have a vehicle, like, I would pay guys gas money to just use their car because they didn't want to go see that sand hill. Like, bro, I would get up at 4 a.m. and go train by myself. Like, me and my kid mom would go out there with me. I'll go out there and train by myself, bro, at dark, running sand dunes. just doing a lot of stuff on my own. And, with the career I had it in high school, bro, the second year, my senior year, bro, I had 419 yards in, I think, the second game of the season. Yeah, I had a 419-yard game the second game of the season with 4 touchdowns and didn't play the fourth quarter. And it was so crazy because every one of my games that I played in was either a 300-yard game or it was a high 300-yard game or a high 200-yard game. And it was a bad game for me at that time. Like, because I was used to, if it was a 100-yard game or something like that, it had to be, coach took me out at, halftime or the second quarter. But saying all this, right, I never been to a playoff game. So I never knew how good I was outside of the Panhandle of Pensacola until I made it to the All-American game. Like, I never knew. And then with that, shoot, I didn't know how good I was until I got to Alabama because shit, I only got one ball in the All-American game.
Mm.
So having the Matt Barkley's throwing the ball to, the Deron Carters and stuff like that, like you already know how crazy Deron was when it came to, to high school football. Like he was just a freak athlete, bro. Like, but you got guys like that, and at that time, All-American game was produced for quarterbacks and receivers. Like it wasn't, you're gonna run the ball. You was in the shotgun 24/7. But man, I know I gotta wrap it up, man. But just that process, bro. Like I tell kids today, bro, you never give up. Like the process that I went through, bro. Like it was tough. It's been a long time since my mom bought me. So my mom moved when I was 14 to Foley. That's why everybody thought I was gonna go to Foley High School, and I stayed. And I couldn't be away from my kids. And so just that fighting process, bro, was just different. So I would tell folks, man, you are your way out, man, and folks got to know that from a mental point too, not just from being an athlete, because it's different avenues and revenues out there, man. So that's my spiel, man. I know I went way over time. It's so much to break down, though, bro. It's. I know y'all got a story, bro. I can't wait to hear y'all's story, man. But man, y'all brought me back on that one, though.
Yeah, Trent, you need we're gonna have to do a show where we listen to your whole story because your story ain't halfway finished. Because
It ain't.
I know you went through a lot, and you know what I'm saying, like you had some of the same interests that I had, man, and that were powerful. But I want to hit this super chat for Blake. He said, "I'll never forget Christion Jones huge hit versus Mississippi."
For sure.
You got that's legendary, Christion. I still remember that. I was like, "That's a receiver."
I know.
Hey, don't think that. Hey, don't think that we got a receiver that can't hit.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And
I think after that hit too, they started putting receivers on kickoff after that. Yeah.
because when you first get to Bama, you on special team.
Come on now, talk about it.
I don't care if you came in a 5-star, you this and that. If you was a skilled player, you was on special team, no matter
Right.
what.
Right.
Yeah, but Trent, man, that story was powerful. We'll definitely have to. We're probably gonna have to finish up with a new story with you next week because there's more I want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
I heard a lot, about you. You know what I'm saying? Growing up through the recruiting process. But I'm gonna pass the torch to Christion. The receiver, one of the greats that came through Alabama and from Alabama at that. So, Christion, take it away.
Yeah, from Birmingham, Alabama, man, the metro area. Grew up in Adamsville, went to Minor High School. I was able to do something at my school that nobody had ever done, and that's bring recruits through the school. It was the first time anybody at the school had seen Nick Saban walk through the basketball game. First time them seeing coaches surround the gate defense and come and be a part. And just being and coming to the games and being part of that, being able to see that. So it was sort of like a movie. So like, where we grew up, it was Alabama and Auburn, but it wasn't in depth to the fact where people was just, that was all they was talking about. Like we had growing up, I remember we had, during homecoming, we would have Auburn and Alabama Day where everybody would dress and pick and choose what they had growing up. And growing up, I always was an athlete. I always played multiple sports, as a kid. Growing up, I always, I played baseball all the way up to sixth grade. But after sixth grade, I got caught up in basketball. And so I just numbed it down to basketball and football. So after that, I watched a lot of basketball growing up. I was the kid that thought he was going to be a basketball star. I don't know why. I didn't have a person in my family who was above 6 foot. So what was I thinking? But so when I was hooping and playing basketball, it wasn't until my 9th grade year when I really started like getting to a decision making of whether or not I was going to stop playing football. Because I was really good at basketball, I felt like but it got to a point too. I had people around me who understood and saw the potential of me in football, and they understood something that I didn't seem to realize was the height that will hold you back from playing basketball. It's just the nature of the game. You feel me? You got to have like some astronomical type skills to even be a certain size and still dominate on the court. So I had people around me who kind of had that intellect to let me know, you know what I'm saying? You might want to stick to that football, bro. You really cold at that. And I know I wasn't fortunate enough to go have trainers and hire trainers. I don't even know if we had any trainers in our city growing up, like in the neighborhood. So what we did, we trained ourselves by playing each other. Growing up, you guarded everybody at every position, and you ran routes and got the ball against everybody on the other side of the defense. So by the time we got in the 10th grade, the starting safety was going into his senior year, and he tore his MCL. And at this time, this was like the August kickoff classic that we had at Minor. And once I got the news of that, our D coordinator was asking our strong safety who he thought could play, which is one of my OGs growing up. And so called me into the back, taught me like 3 coverages. We rocked out, had a pretty decent game, and I got the opportunity to play that year. And towards the end of the season, I got the opportunity to start because me and him was trading. We spent the first half of the season going in and out, subbing in and out, so he can get an opportunity to play when he got well. But once towards the end of the season, they started seeing I started making plays. Played probably my biggest game my sophomore year was probably when we played Jameis Winston. This was his 8th grade year. He was playing on varsity, and this was a really big game. This was a high school game day game, and I had a pick, forced fumble, scoop fumble. So it was a pretty big day, and that was the game that I got on the radar and started going to those camps, getting invited to those camps in the summertime. And back then, y'all know, like I know, those camps was how we got noticed. It wasn't social media like that. The only social media you had was really scouts, rivals, whatever like little combine invites you got invited to. That's what put you on a bigger scale. So went to those, dominated those, and back then before COVID, you was there at the Alabama camps at like, you did 3-day camps. My first camp, I did a 3-day camp. You know what I'm saying? So you stayed in there. You really got a chance to understand how Bama did things as a high school athlete. You ran the same program they ran when you was here as a camper. So once we got able to do that, my junior year came around. I was able to dominate my junior year, bro. It was crazy. And once that happened, my first after my junior year, my first offer was Tennessee. And after I got that offer, it was ridiculous. Like they started coming in, as y'all know, once you get that first big time offer, they start ringing in, man. So once they started ringing in, I was still oblivious to what was going on, just being honest with y'all. Like I still didn't know what a full ride scholarship was. I didn't know what none of that meant until my mama held that letter up when we got the first one from Tennessee and basically told me like, this means that I'm not gonna have to pay for college. Like, well, you just really did something, like, you know what I'm saying? So all I need you to do is make sure that GPA right and get on out of here, which that was already a done deal, but just focus on it and finish out. You know what I'm saying? So then I'm still not really knowing what's going on in terms of recruitment and how that worked. Like I took no official visits. I took one official visit, and that was to Alabama. Like I didn't know that you could take 5. This was after I got to Bama, that you can all these different attributes that you had and incentives that you had as a recruit at the time that I never took advantage of. So it was probably by my senior year. I kind of the summer going into my senior year, it was between Alabama and Auburn. I was down in Auburn every day, almost every weekend. Going into my senior year, like I was down there every weekend. But an altercation kind of happened where it was a conversation over the phone between the coach that was recruiting me, recruited safeties. I'm not gonna say any names, but the coach really got into it with my mom over the phone, basically like, what's going on, because I had also started showing Bama all this love too, and after you go to a recruiting visit, it'd be like a little reporter over there. As soon as you walk out, you about to go. He start asking you questions. So I didn't put Auburn. When I went to Alabama, I wouldn't put Auburn in my top 5. And when I went to top 3, I wouldn't put Alabama in my top 3 or top 5 when I went to the other spot. So the recruiter got mad. So and so. He said something to my mom, and at that point, it was almost like, you've been going down there. And I already didn't like that. And then this coach was willing to disrespect me in order to get a kid to come to his school. I don't know if you might want to reconsider. So at that point, it was already like, all right, I'm going to Bama. So after our homecoming game, I committed to Bama, and it was all she wrote. So, but one point I want to make is the adversity that I had was making the decision to play offensive defense, because when I first got to Bama, they didn't really know where to put me, because I came in recruited as a DB, but we was loaded. Like the guys we came back, I was gonna redshirt. Like it was simple as that. We just had too much depth at that position, and you guys know it. So when I had a meeting with Coach Saban, probably second week enrolling, it was like, you're gonna redshirt more than likely if you play defense. You'll learn the system and all that, get ready for next year. Or if you don't make any special teams, or you can play right now, play special teams, and get an opportunity to be a 2 on offense, because we was down. We had a lot of guys injured and transfer at receiver. So I chose to play receiver, and I had never played or ever lined up as a receiver until the moment I got to Bama.
Well, I didn't even realize that.
That's powerful. Yeah, because I remember when I played against you, you were playing quarterback and everything.
Yep.
Yeah, you were playing quarterback and
and running back. I lined up at receiver. Bo, against y'all, I lined up receiver that one play, the one time that I scored. But I had never lined up from there, before then, and after that moment ever again.
Yeah, that's when I first heard your name when we were getting ready to play against y'all. And our coach would tell him, because Benny was on the team.
Yeah, that was legendary, bro. That was legendary.
Yeah. And he was like, yeah, we got the guy. He coming into y'all hometown. He play every position on the field, so you don't know where he might line up at. So you gotta watch out for him. He fast. He'll be at quarterback, running back. He played DB. Also may line up at safety. Since they playing against us, he may line up at running back, or they may try to do something with him. But you was all over the field.
Everywhere, boss.
Yeah. Until you gave me invented the runaround on our recruiting visit.
It was just like I had to get back home. I was a homebody, man, in high school, man. I want to get back to the house.
But why you ain't tell her you was at the house instead of?
I ain't trust nobody back then, Bo. I ain't really trust nobody outside of back at the house, man.
We supposed to go to the game. He said, meet me in the front of my more complex on the step. We sitting there waiting on him. He said he at the game. We like, he done went to the game. So we went on ahead and went to the game. You know what I'm saying? We see him in the game. After the game, he said, meet us at the front, like where the players go in at. So we sitting on there waiting on. I'm like, what Christion at? You like, man, let me call him. I'm like, Christion, where you at? Well, I'm on the script. Meet me at Rounder. I'm gonna wait on y'all. Meet me at Rounder. Rounder, man. Christion ain't answer the phone no more. This is my first time knowing the truth that he went home. Actually,
I went home.
That's crazy.
I went home, man.
I
was at those locations, but
yeah.
Y'all was taking too long.
But yeah, I'm a pass it on to Blake. Blake played running back first, and he had a little adversity at Bama, then switched over to quarterback. One of the best things that probably happened in his life. But Blake, you can go ahead and tell your story.
Coming out of high school, just high school, my ninth grade year, man. Before my ninth grade year, I was playing running back. That's the only position I was playing, was running back and safety, and sometimes corner. And then my freshman year in high school, I started at wide receiver. I was a Z, and I was a starting punt return and starting safety. That year, I led the whole region in interceptions. And then my 10th grade year, our quarterback had left because he was a senior, and that's when my quarterback journey started. And my first game, my first throw, I threw an 80-yard touchdown that was a corner. And that was my first play. So that's when I woke up and was like, hey, I can do this.
Right.
I can do this, man. And so I had my coach. This is when I was at Cass High School. It's in Cartersville, same place Trevor Lawrence is from. And can y'all hear me? Am I breaking up?
We hear you.
Okay. And my head coach had told me that my head coach had told me that he felt like I'll never play D1 or be a starting quarterback. So me and the name Trent, you probably know this name, Richard Samuels. He went to Georgia as a running back. He was at that time he was 16, turning 17 as a senior. And so all he was hearing about was Georgia. Georgia. He thought that was the only team recruiting. So one day, me and him broke into our head coach's office, and we opened up his drawer, man. I'm talking about we got letters for days, man. And so when I seen that, man, I went and told my dad. I know Trent and Jones know my dad, and Bo, you know my dad.
Yeah.
You know my dad well enough that when I told my dad, he was like, oh, we about to get up out of there. He's like, we about to get up out of there. So, man, I went to, so I ended up going to Gainesville. That was in 2008. I ended up being at Gainesville. And that's when my career started, man. I was like Trent. I was a big Vince Young fan. Man. And, but I was also a Pat White fan. So the two schools I'm looking to go to is either Texas or West Virginia. And I kind of liked it Virginia Tech because of Michael Vick, and also his brother was on his way of going to Virginia Tech. So I felt like, hey, Vick did his thing. Now Marcus about to come, and I'm gonna just take over, and I'm gonna wear 7 just like them boys. And that's just how I was thinking. But my life and my career came at a hold because my 11th grade year, that's when I had my beautiful child, Kyla. And but we all a lot of players have had kids, but the mother of my child wasn't a citizen in the United States. So therefore, as a young man, I had to make a decision to see my child at the age of 21, or she sees her child at the age of 21. So therefore, I had to make a decision. I think that was the first time that I had to be in a situation I realized that I wasn't selfish by the answer that I had gave them. And my answer was, I want to marry the mother of my child. And so when I married her, she she was able to handle her business, and she was able to be in her daughter's life. And she's doing a wonderful job with my daughter now. My daughter was beautiful, very educated, and she's doing a great job. And so I had Lane Kiffin my junior year come, man, and I was loving Lane, bro. I was going to Tennessee, seeing Lane, chilling with Coach O. I used to love to hear Coach O talk, man, because like I always had to ask him to repeat because I never could understand what he was saying. It was just, Blake, we want you over here. I'm telling you, Blake, we want you over here. You're gonna be the C. You're gonna start, and Lane. So you know how Lane is, Coach O. Shut up. That's just how it is. And like Coach Lane was just breaking it down to me, man, and we was having a good time, man. And then when Coach Saban came to campus, everybody was like, bro, Coach Saban's here to see you. I'm like, man, who is Saban? You know what I'm saying? Reminds you now, I'm a cartoon guy. I'm watching cartoons. When football come on, my first game that I watched, man, was Tennessee versus Alabama, and Terrence Cody blocked that dang field goal, bro. That was my first game that I watched college-wise. And so when he came there, man, everybody was just talking very big about him. But the difference between Coach Saban and Lane Kiffin and other coaches that came and saw me, Coach Saban went and asked the janitor and my principal about me. While all the other coaches in the office talking to my coaches and other people about me, Coach Saban wanted to ask the small people, how is Blake Sims?
Yep.
And he was the only coach that didn't promise me nothing. He said, you can go to Texas, you can go to West Virginia, and I'm over here like, how did he know I wanted to go here? You know, he knew about Pat White. He talked to me about Pat White and all that stuff. And he told me, you can go to them other schools, but when I play you, I'm going to kick your butt. I'm going to kick your butt up and down the field. And he let me know, man. And I committed to Tennessee. And I committed to Alabama. And then I ended up talking to Lane and was just talking to Lane, and he still wanted me to come. And then this is when I found out about Trent. That boy Trent hit that A gap on, it probably was Duo. I want to say it was North Duo. Was in the championship. And so I'm just watching Julio though, you know, like because I'm coming to college and I'm like, I don't want to play quarterback because I want to do return. I want to do everything that I'm possible doing. So Coach Saban had me as an athlete. So when I heard Julio had 3 targets for that game, I immediately picked up the phone and said, Lane, I'm trying to be in that orange, baby. And then and I called Saban, man. Saban had just got back on his plane the next morning. He was like, Blake, I'm happy right now. I'm not trying to yell at you because I want you to come here. Just let me get back to Tuscaloosa. And how about you come down and you just visit with us one more time? And and we'll see how it goes. And when I got there, man, that was my first time visiting Tuscaloosa. It was beautiful, man. Before I even left, right when I walked in Saban's office, I was like, Saban, I want to come here. And that was my moment of realizing how committed Coach Saban wants you to be before you even step foot on campus. Be committed to what he has going and the Bama way.
Right.
And that's what made me come to Alabama. And the way that Kirby Smart recruited me. You see, Kirby Smart recruited me. He recruited a lot of guys from Georgia. And but I had to go through clearinghouse coming out of college. So I made the clearinghouse 5 minutes before the deadline, because I was at East Mississippi in JUCO, getting ready for the season. I'm playing wide receiver. I'm the starting Z, and Coach Saban called my phone and was like, "Pack them bags and get your butt down here to Tuscaloosa." And just the way that Coach Saban like bought into me as a person and was willing to get to know me and willing to go over and beyond. And the way that Kirby was calling clearinghouse every day just to get me in school, that just showed that they put so much effort in for me to come to Alabama. Why not be loyal and go to Alabama?
Yeah.
And when I got there, man, the first jersey they put me in was that crimson jersey, man.
Right. Yeah.
And that was my hello, I'm Trent Richardson. I'm Mark Ingram. It's the 4th period. I get there, man. I get out on the field. It's the 4th period. Run period. Man, they called North Blunt. Trent came through that hole, boy, and put my face mask on the side of my helmet. I waited till that last whistle. I beat Coach Saban to his office. I said, can I please put that white jersey on? So, man, yeah, that's my story right there in a little quick time. And that's what it is, champ. And had to overcome adversity, bro, just because, like, this is my first time ever mentioning that loud in front of y'all, but I'm not going to say I'm the reason we won the Natty in 2011, but I feel like I played a big part because I was in a rotation when we played LSU. When it's that 9-6 game, I was in a rotation. And when we went to play them in the Natty, I stepped to Coach Saban, was like, I ran a triple option in high school, and I ran the option in middle school, so I can do it. And that first practice on that Monday, when I did it, Coach Saban was like, yeah, I want you to go to scout team meetings. I want you to be with Jody 24/7. I don't want you to be nowhere but knowing what Jordan Jefferson going to do every play. And that's what I did, man. And them boys didn't cross the 50.
That was up. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, man. And just being on scout team every day, bro. Like seeing Trent do his thing. You know what I'm saying? The whole 9 yards, bro. I ain't gonna sugarcoat nothing, bro. Just I remember one time I'm in a retreat at a party, man, and Trent and Mark pull up at the same time. A girl stopped talking to me, and like it was like 4 of them went right to them, like just so they could say, hey, you know what I'm saying? And remind you, I'm seeing that. Then I meet Jones, man, and Jones is out here, and we on scout team. I'm at quarterback. He's at running back because he's trying to get his reps to get used to playing, and now he's here and. I grow a relationship with him, and now he's playing. And now I'm over here like, man, what's going on, man? We had Alvin Kamara. We had Corey Grant. We had a lot of great players, man. I'm just like, when is my time going to come? And Coach Saban used to just always come to me before every Monday. Get your butt down to that scout team. Get your butt down to the scout team. And so when my junior year came, man, and Philip Simmons left, Coach Saban was like, all right, do you want to stay at running back or would you like to, go to quarterback because we ain't got no backup? I was like, man, I'm staying at running back because now, Trent gone and all that, man. And remind you, at this time, I'm thinking I'm not going to see this field. I'm just like, let me get my degree, go be a great businessman, a great family man. This is how my mind's working. And so I see Jones get in, and I'll never forget it, man. I don't know, my boy did an overall, a corner route. His freshman year, he caught that ball, man, and he almost scored. He stepped out on the 2-yard line. When I seen it, I looked at myself. I said, Blake, and I said, you ain't gonna see that field. And so, and I heard that year too. I had also hurt my hip, man. And guys was going around talking about Blake man out there in California. And I'm out there hurting, bro. And so when that hurt, man, I knew I was not playing in Alabama, man. I knew I wasn't playing in Alabama, bro. So I was like, man, I'm a back.
How you hurt your hip, Blake?
Huh? Man, I hurt my hip playing, and I was in the Bay in California, man. And I went up for a dunk, and I dunked it, and one of the dudes from the Air Force undercut me, and I fell on my hip. And Coach Saban banned me from the rec, bro. Coach Saban banned me for the rec. And
wow.
So when that happened, bro, okay. And then so when that happened, I thought my job was done. So you know how like when you come out on the field at practice, you got all them businessmen and them important people standing right there when you go out. Man, I was stopping, shaking their hands. Hey, you need somebody in your business? I'm your guy. Like, what you need? Yeah. I'm there 1st and 10. I'm the first guy there.
Right.
1st and 10. I'm the first guy there, man. Like
1st and 10.
Come on now. Certain jokes that come out of folks' mouth, I don't want to play no more. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to play no more. So, man, then I hear Jay Coker come, man. Jay Coker come, and I'm like, yep. I start buying ties. I start buying ties, man. And so, but what changed my mindset, bro, was when a young man told me I'll never start at the University of Alabama and I'll never play. That's what changed my whole mindset, man. And I was like, I'm not gonna be denied. And so that was leading me into my senior year.
Right. Yeah, that was up, man. That was powerful, man. Yeah. just the hip guy.
Yeah, I have been hip, man.
I forgot about that hip.
Mika Craig, man, for $9.99. This is my favorite channel. Love you boys, Roll Tide.
Give me Craig. Appreciate your love.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. I forgot about that hip, man. I forgot about that hip.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But I'm gonna keep it short, man, because we pushing for time, man. About my time leading up to Alabama, man. I was a country boy coming straight, from the country to Tuscaloosa. I don't know nothing about recruit. I just know how to play football. You know what I'm saying? So my 8th grade summer going into the 9th grade, I go over to Mississippi State 7-on-7 count, with the team. I go over there, I go off. So we were like playing the game to get into the championship game. And I remember my leg was so tired because I'm playing receiver. I was playing receiver before running back. And I'm doing them, but like I feel like I'm just running with my hips. I can't even feel my legs or nothing, because you know how hot it is in the summertime in Mississippi and Alabama. So man, so like Chief Brown, I'm killing everybody on the team. So Chief Brown, he come up on me, let me get him, let me hold him. Like he already committed to Ole Miss, you know what I'm saying? He a junior going into his senior year. I'm actually a eighth grader going into my ninth grade year. They throw a go ball down the scene straight to me. I go up and get it. Like that catch remind me of that catch that Julio had back when he was at camp. And you know what I'm saying, everybody just going crazy. So I'm this with the JV team. So my head coach come to me, he like, I want you to come back next week with the varsity team. I'm like, all right, cool. So I come back next week, I run the 40, you know what I'm saying? I clocked the 40, 4-3-4. They like, nah, they like, nah, no way, you gotta do it again. I come back 4-3-5. They you know what I'm saying? So like Dan Muddling, like everybody started coming over there. They want me to run my 40 again. So I'm like, all right. So I run at this time, so because I came from running track. Boom. I clocked 4-4, you know what I'm saying? So they like, now they want to see me like play, because like the week before it was JV, you know what I'm saying? They weren't paying no attention to them. So now we varsity. So like I'm the only freshman on the varsity team, you know what I'm saying, at that time. And I'm starting slot receiver. I'm running post corners, like I'm killing. You know what I'm saying? So make a long story short, we on the bus ride, going back to Tuscaloosa. So I remember his name Coach Smith. He was a defensive coach though. So he come back there, he showed me a message. The message said that we want to offer Bo Scarbrough a scholarship, him and Jane Cox. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah, that's cool. It whatever. Like I ain't looking at it like it was a big deal. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. It whatever. You know. So my ninth grade season, it played jet out like yours, Trent. So I'm playing receiver. My two running backs, they get hurt. My coach come pick me up on a Sunday, because he stayed near me. He like, when I get in the truck, the first thing he said, you ready? I said, ready for what? He said, I'm about to start you at running back this week. And we about to play against Christion Jones now. And he like, I'm about to start you at running back this week. I'm like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready for it. So now, like I'm down, this 6A football. You know what I'm saying? Like, Chris, 6A football is it like SEC football.
Most definitely.
So man, I'm at practice, you know what I'm saying? Man, dudes, man, Vinny thumping me. Bah! You know what I'm saying? But I'm giving it to him too. You know what I'm saying? Making a long story short, we get to the game. I score 4 touchdowns, 222 yards. You know what I'm saying? Monday morning, nah. That happened Friday. Tuesday morning, guess where I was at?
Well,
The detention center. You feel me? So Cole Brantley, his wife was my lawyer. So she like it, it was
Oh,
some
you talking about detention center like that? I thought you talking about like in detention.
detention center behind bars.
Oh.
You know what I
Oh
mean?
man.
So like it's something that had happened like over the Christmas break, and this the following year. So my basketball coach, his wife, my lawyer, she come up there, she telling like he got all A's. You know what I'm saying? He just ran for 200 some yards for a touchdown. Great student. And the guy like, well, the other guys back there, he got to go back there for 24 hours. Man, them like the longest 24 hours I ever been up in there. You know what I'm saying? So like, long story short, because I know we pushed for time. So the next day I go to court, they got me in the holding cell. Man, I was in the holding cell so long, man. I thought they had forgot about me. You know what I'm saying? I like, man, I know these folks ain't forgot about me, man. How long I been up in here, man? Like, but I only had been sitting in there for 45 minutes. You know what I'm saying? But it be feeling like you be sitting in there for like 3, 4, 5 hours. So you know what I'm saying? I get out, you know what I'm saying? I go to I done missed practice and everything. I go to the game. So, you know, I'm on the sideline because I'm thinking I'm not starting. So it's the first play of the game. He called a run play. I ain't even in the game. Trey in the game. So he looked up. He was like, "Who is that running the ball?" They like, "That's Trey." He like, "But where the hell is Bo?" He was like, "He on the sideline." He was like, "Why he's not in the game?" He couldn't even like, "Why you ain't in the game? Why you ain't starting?" I'm like, "Coach, like I ain't been to practice all week. Like I ain't nobody tell me, man. You know how a coach grab you by your shoulder pads right here."
Yeah.
Yeah, you start the game. He said, "You start the game. I tell you not to start the game. Get your ass in the game." You know what I'm saying? So I get in the game. That's when I first play. I take it for 70 yards. You know what I'm saying? So after that, you know what I'm saying?
That's why I told you to get in the game.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So like, I'm like this my ninth grade year. Fast forward to my 10th grade year, I'm averaging 100 yard a game. You know what I'm saying? Like I had one game, I had 6 carries for 136 yards. You know what I'm saying? And we were playing Oak Mound, Christian. You know what I'm saying? And then right after we played Oak Mound, we played Carver, Birmingham. I break I break my ankle. This in the ninth grade. I break my ankle. I got 2 screws in it. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the boot, man. I'm like, man, I never walk again, man. I'm like, damn, I never walk again. You know what I'm saying? So like, basketball season come around, I get the screws taken out. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing all that rehab, and I'm thinking I can just go straight and play basketball just because, you know what I'm saying? I've been rehabbing. I've been rehabbing for 9 months, you know, well, like 5, 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Like, my ankle should be cool. Only thing I did was got the screws out. Man, she tell me I got to go through rehab process again. I said, listen, Mary T, man, I just did 5 months of rehab. Ain't no way I'm finna do no rehab. I'm finna play basketball. You feel me? Man, Mary T take me up. You know what I'm saying? I went out there, played basketball. First game, had 20 points, 10 rebounds. You know what I'm saying? I was in the post. I beat you up in the post. I was a dirty player. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm fast forward to my 10th grade year now. So I was averaging 100, you know what I'm saying? 100 and some yards a game. Boom. We finna play against Haircraft. Both of us 11-0. This is the biggest game that ever been played in Tuscaloosa. The game was so big they had to add bleachers to the both of the end zone. Now I feel like I'm in college. You know what I'm saying? So when I got hurt, when I broke my ankle, I had on black leggings. So like this game, we went all white. You know what I'm saying? And it cold out, you know, it's a little breeze outside. So I got some customized cleat called Turn Up the Heat on them. So
What was the color of your jersey?
we were powder blue, white, and black, but our jerseys
I'm trying to think of your swag right now. I'm trying to see what your swag was.
listen, the swag, we all white. Think about it. We all white. Our number black with the powder blue trim, the North Carolina blue trim on it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then our pants all white with a half a stripe powder blue. You know what I'm saying? So we strictly in all white with the black shiny helmet. You know what I'm saying? I got the white leggings on. I got the customized cleats all white with the powder blue Nike sign. Say turn up the heat. You know what I'm saying? I go out there, man. I get the ball on kickoff return. I get up to the 40-yard line. Boom. I run the ball 6 times in a row. 6 play. I tear my ACL. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying? It's the big game. So now I'm thinking like how Trent was thinking, like, man, I gotta go ahead and commit, you know what I'm saying, solidify me a spot in college. So it's my 10th grade summer. I come back, I go back down to Mississippi State. I run a 4.4 again, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause you know what I'm saying, we were working hard, man. Like we 6 a.m. workouts, you know, I run a 4.4 again. Boom. Long story short, it's the 5th game of the season. Man, I get a high ankle sprain. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn. So like I'm battling all these injuries, man. And when I go to say it's like I'm having like so many injuries. I had ended up spraining my AC joint. And then after, you know what I'm saying, my senior year in high school, I end up tearing my meniscus. You know what I'm saying? But every time I hurt something, I come back bigger, faster, and stronger. You know what I'm saying? So like, and my homeboy telling me, he like, man, how you doing that? Like, how you getting hurt and you being able to come back faster and stronger? I'm like, man, like to be for real, on the days when I don't feel like going to rehab and I go to rehab, them the days that I feel like I've been and got better. And then you know the fast forward to my recruiting process, like in my 10th grade year, Florida called and offered me. Florida called and offered. After Florida called, Coach Saban called. After Coach Saban called, Jimbo Fisher called. After Jimbo Fisher called, Al Golden called. After Al Golden called, a Notre Dame called. So I'm just getting all these calls. You know what I'm saying? So like, man, I remember one time, I'm like, we all at the Rivals 100 camp. Me, Ruben, the Lawson boy from Auburn, Trey Williams, Jai Casher. I'm talking about Tony, like all the 2014 class. We sitting at the table. We made a toast that we were all going to Auburn. You know what I'm saying? So we made it. So you know, like I'm the youngest one though. Like I'm a grade behind them. We all made a toast that we were going to Auburn. Soon as Gene Chizzy left, everybody hit my phone on like, Bo, where we going? I'm like, hey, the next place is Alabama. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, they go to Bama. So I'm still in my recruiting process. Like, so now like I committed to Bama and Coach Saban, like, you know what I'm saying, I can't take no official visit. So I tell them, okay, that's cool, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I set up me an official visit to go to UCLA. So I'm headed to a football game. Coach Saban called Chris Winkie. He like he speak to Bo. So he was like, Chris Winkie called me to the front of the bus. I'm like, what's up? He like, you got a phone call. I was like, who it is? He was like, you might want to take it. So I answered the phone. I'm like, hello. He was like, Bo, it's Coach Saban. I'm like, what's up, Coach? He was like, are you still committed to us? I was like, I don't know. And he was like, well, what if I told you I don't know if we gonna offer you a scholarship? I was like, well, Coach, that's just something that, you know what I'm saying, that y'all have to do, you know? And he was like, so you gonna go on an official visit to UCLA? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go to an official visit. So he was like, Bo, let me tell you something. He said, you made a commitment to us, right? I said, yes, sir, I did. He said, just like cheating on your girlfriend, you made a commitment, but you're going to see other girls. And then I was like, yeah, you're right. But in a sense, this kind of different. This kind of depending on my life for the next 4 years. And he said, you also right about that. But I also want you to think about, the decision that you make. So I go to UCLA. I go out there to UCLA. My mama like, so I'm at the dinner table. I can't think of the head coach name who was out there at the time, but I know I'm at the dinner table with him, the OC, the running back coach, and like the host, the players at the dinner table. The offensive coordinator, he got his wife and girlfriend at the table. So he like, this my wife and this my girlfriend. So we in Hollywood. So like I'm sitting at the table like this. Like I ain't even said nothing. Like I'm just looking like this your wife and this your girlfriend. Like what going, what I'm saying? Like what going on? So Miles Jack was at the school at the time too. So I meet with the head coach. He tell me like, what you want to go to school for? I'm like, I want to go to school to be an FBI agent, you know what I'm saying? And I also like acting as well. And he was like, let me tell you this. One of my best friends is a movie producer. He said, if you come here, the only thing you'll have to worry about is playing football. You won't have to go to no class. Just play football, and I get you into any movie that you want to get into. I said, well, I got my cousin and my homeboy. What about them? He was like, the best that we could do for them is offer them a half a scholarship. You know what I'm saying? And then like I was going to IMG, so it was a guy working at IMG. He was gonna let me stay up in a 3-bedroom crib. It was nice. I'm talking about huge. You know what I'm saying? So I go down to Ole Miss. Man, I went to Ole Miss. I feel like I was at the crib. I'm like, man, I'm gonna come to Ole Miss. This where it's at. You know what I'm saying? Like, but once, what I'm saying, Hugh Freeze, what I'm saying, he's saying you'll be the starter. I'm going to all these schools, Miami, Notre Dame, I know I'm pushing for time, trying to make it quick. But, Al Gone come to the crib off promise me a starting spot. Hugh Freeze come to the crib, offer me a starting spot. UCLA come to the crib, offer me a starting spot. You know what I'm saying? Coach Saban come to the crib. He like, Bo, everything that you get, he said, everything that you got, you have worked for. No one have never given you anything. You put in the work for it. I was like, yes, sir, I did. He was like, so how could someone tell you that you gonna start for them when you ain't even have a practice for them yet? And I'm like, you're right. And he was like, I'm not promising you anything. I'm not promising you a starting spot. I'm not even promising you that you're gonna even play. It's gonna be up to you if you're gonna play. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, that's real. And he was like, one thing about it, when you come to the University of Alabama, you're gonna be a student first, and then you're gonna be an athlete, and then you're gonna be a man, and you're gonna know how to handle responsibility and integrity. And then I was like, man, that's, what I'm saying? Like, he told me something that no coach had came in there and said, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, you hear all this stuff about you know what I'm saying, moving to linebacker. I never said that you're gonna play linebacker. In my eyes, I see you as a running back, so that's the position you're gonna play. I know you laughing at Blake, but yeah. So man, it came down to it. It came down to Ole Miss and Alabama. So when I looked at it, I'm like, which coach gonna be at this school the next 3 to 4 years that I'm there? You know what I mean? He like,
Bo, sorry, bro.
Bo,
That was great.
I'm like,
Bo, I'm sorry, Bo. I can't take 6 serious, bro.
Come on.
I apologize, bro. I didn't think I was singing like that quick.
Yeah.
Man.
So it came down to Ole Miss and Alabama. So I was like,
my fault, bro. I apologize, cuz.
All right, I'm done, bro. I'm done.
so it came down to Ole Miss and Alabama. So I'm like, man, like, which coach gonna be around when I'm there for the next 3 to 4 years? You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at Hugh Freeze. You know what I'm saying? The situation he got going on. I'm looking at Coach Saban. You know what I'm saying? At the time, Bama got 8 running backs. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, if I wanna be the best, I gotta compete with the best. You know what I mean? And then like my mom right there, I got everybody right there. So, even though I was from Tuscaloosa, it was still a hard decision for me. But, so I made the decision to go to Alabama because of, what I'm saying, the type of guy that Coach Saban is, and that he wasn't only just there for you for football. He also wanted to make you better as a player, as a man, and as a person, like I said, and handle responsibility and integrity.
True.
And that's because that's something that what I'm saying, every man need, because like most of these guys that come out of college and they don't go straight to the league, they be lost because they don't know who they are. But when you go to Alabama, you know who you are, you know what type of dude you are, you know what you can handle. If you can go through fourth quarter, you can go through anything in life.
True.
So and that my adversity that I overcame was my injuries, man. And like I had so many injuries, and like the injury, I had 2 ACL injuries, an ankle injury, and a hamstring pulled off the bone that had to be reattached, and still playing football. Like you got to be dedicated, and you got to be willing to put the work in. So, that's my story, man. And I appreciate you guys, man, for coming on and telling y'all story, man. And next week we're gonna have Trent for our guest, and because man, like I real deal want to hear this story, because like I ain't heard nobody say nothing else about nobody being should have been a 6-star besides Trent. So I want to hear that story, man, and I appreciate you guys for coming on and telling the people y'all story, man, and the things that we had to go through to get to Alabama. You know what I'm saying? It ain't all just fun and gain, and like we just so good, and we just it's a lot of decisions that we have to make when we choosing these schools, that we have to look at. Like, it's not just about football, but our degree, our family, you know what I'm saying, our kids, you know what I'm saying, like where we gonna be at for the next 3 to 5 years. Is this something that I really want to do? Is this the school that really best fit for me? And as it turned out, for our 4 of us on here got a national championship or 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact.
So our name forever wrote in that brick at Alabama. Will be forever remembered. But that's what I wanted to give the fans, man, tonight, and the people that were watching, a taste of our story and our background and everything that we went through, even though we didn't, have a chance to, go into really detail because pushing for time. But we'll appreciate y'all. Like I said, Trent will be our guest for next week. And if y'all guys don't mind telling, the people before we leave what y'all got going on and what y'all got coming up.
Blake, that question go to you first. What the hell you got going on?
Hey, Blake, what you got? What you got after hours after the show? What you got? So you doing something after the show? Got a fan only you trying to drop on here?
Bro, I got so many text messages, bro. Like, I looked up from my other phone. I'm like, they talking about Blake got an fan only, whatever the hell it is.
That boy got Velvet Thunder 6 after the show. After the show, if you want to hop on Blake's fans only, got a promo code charging $1.99, baby.
Yeah, and I have my robe on.
You should have had a robe on when you switched that camera.
No, my phone had died, fool. So So when I hit the
Your
link,
skin is
no,
dry
listen.
and
When I
dying.
hit the link, I'm thinking Jason got to put me in. You feel me? I ain't know when I hit the link and I go, let's go. I'm already on, fool. Like, you feel me? So when I look, I'm like, hold up, I ain't got no shirt on, fool.
Hey man, Jonesy, man, we just training these kids, man, keeping it rolling, making sure everybody better, man, every day, man. You can find me in Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, man. You know how we rock it, man. Follow
Yes,
me on
sir.
social media for you.
Hey, you still gonna do that central thing, coach?
Oh, that move on the way to getting made. You know, we just putting our ducks in the row, crossing our I's and T's and getting dotted. You did.
Yeah, dotting your I's and crossing your T's. You said it.
Well, you know how I go, baby. You know how I go.
I don't want you. I don't want you to dot no T now.
You never know. You might have to. You might have to. You might have to dot a T.
Yeah. What about you, Trent? I know you the athletic director, you the CEO, you the radio host, you the you the
President.
you the president of the school, you the janitor at Carver. Tell the people what you got going on, man.
Yeah, you done said it here. Janitor, the CEO, the athletic director. Nah, man, we actually for Irondale Sports, we actually just got into basketball season. So Christian and Blake, I got something for y'all too, because my guy, I don't know if y'all ever watched the show Friday Night Typha out there. It was on Netflix. It's on a different station now. Where the Texas teams, they got a league called Typha. And that's actually where the battle and stuff like that. That's where that's created from. Coach Clayton was with these group of guys. Rodriguez Goodlow, Coach Goodlow. He was on the Colts team. He went over to the Outlaws. He's putting a 7-on-7 program together. He's doing it for North Alabama. I was telling him that we were going to put something together down here, and I told him that y'all already got y'all program started, man. So it's getting pretty big, and I don't know if y'all want to, hop in, do some stuff with him or whatever. We'll talk off air, but I think it'd be a real good thing. It's called the fraternity. I think it'd be a real good thing. You talking about, shooting, got film guys and everything, man. Just, he's from Tuscany, Alabama too. So, but to do it on a level that he's done it on and still doing it on is big. He done had his own show on with Netflix. So that might be another leeway for y'all to, to get, everything that y'all got going, for these kids, man, and get them exposure on another level. But I, partnering with this guy, with Rodriguez Goodlow, man, and he's a big Bama fan, so he know all our stats. But he's just a great dude at that, man. He really trying to help these kids out and change these kids' lives, man. And he's very genuine. He's to me, he's an Ed Reed of Little League football for me, man. So and he passionate about it. But man, as far as my end, bro, we moving into basketball season. We're moved into basketball season. Actually doing some track stuff too. With Irondale. Man, we just, moving in different directions, man. And actually, with the radio, we've been talking to Jocks. Should have a proposal this week with that. And still want to get my guys a studio, man, whenever y'all can, long as we in here. But I think we gonna end up going over that way. And they talking about build me another studio with Jocks Radio, man. So that's a good one, man. I don't want to knock on wood. But man, we just, we're moving on up, y'all. That's it, man. We're getting better, bigger, and doing everything we can for the next, generation, man, for my kids.
Yeah.
For sure.
Blake, what you want to go ahead besides your OnlyFans page? You know what I'm saying?
Man, I ain't got much, man. I just got spring football coming up, getting ready for that. Trent ugly boy. 7-on-7. We had our first scrimmage last week. All the guys did an amazing job. Was very happy about that. And I also got some camps coming up, man. Got a camp coming up with Bo and Trent. I'm gonna be putting that on my Instagram coming soon. And when that's about it, man. Just trying to make things happen.
Let's get it, man.
Sir. Yeah, man. I appreciate y'all for coming on. Brooke, great show as always. I can see the comment of y'all lives and script show based loosely off of your real lives. So much. I think people would love to see and need to see this. So
Appreciate
thank
you, love. All right.
All right,
Love
man.
y'all, man.
Man, appreciate y'all, man. Roll Tide, man.
We'll
Roll
talk.
Tide.